I remember the silence after he said it. The table was full, relatives passing dishes, glasses clinking, someone laughing too loud to fill the gap he created with that comment. At least some of us are successful. His eyes didn't stay on me long. It felt rehearsed, casual enough to pass as humor, sharp enough to land. They laughed. I studied the table instead of him. The way people look at the person who speaks confidently, the subtle approval, the quick validation. No one asked what success meant. No one asked who defined it. I felt the pressure rise in my chest, but I didn't defend myself. I didn't correct the narrative. I didn't expose the quiet truth that his so-called success depended heavily on structures tied to my name. Years ago, when his business needed credibility, I signed on the line of credit. It was framed as temporary support. Family first, he said then. We'll build together. At the time, I believed him. Over time, the account became routine. Payments moved automatically. Risk sat under my signature, not his confidence. He expanded, he hired, he invested, and every decision carried my financial shadow, even if he never acknowledged it. That Thanksgiving moment made something click. His words weren't just arrogance. They were a reminder that I was visible only when convenient, invisible when credit was due. I didn't respond. Instead, I watched him lean back in his chair, comfortable in the laughter he had triggered. That night, after returning home, I opened the documents. The line of credit wasn't complicated, my name attached, liability shared. Removing myself required paperwork, formal notice, financial review. It required timing so the shift wouldn't collapse anything unfairly, but would transfer responsibility where it belonged. My emotions surprised me. I wasn't angry. Not in a loud way. I felt clarity. If success meant independence, then I needed to act independently. I contacted the bank first, asked about the legal process of removal. They explained conditions approval from the primary borrower or restructuring under his sole responsibility. If he refused, the agreement had clauses allowing reassessment under risk review. I listened carefully. No confrontation yet. 2 days later, I called him. I didn't mention Thanksgiving. I didn't mention the comment. I told him calmly that I needed to remove my name from the line of credit. There was silence on his end. Then confusion. "You're joking," he said. I said I wasn't. He tried shifting the tone, asking why suddenly, asking if something happened, asking if I was upset. I answered simply the arrangement no longer reflected my risk tolerance. He paused. I could almost hear calculations forming in his head. Without my signature, his borrowing power would shrink. Existing utilization would require adjustment. The lender would reassess. If he wanted to continue operating at the same level, he would need to qualify on his own strength. The process moved quickly after that. He tried delaying paperwork. He tried convincing me to, or reconsider for stability. He even implied that removing support would hurt the family business and by extension everyone. But stability built on dependency isn't stability. I submitted the formal request anyway. The bank processed it. When the official notice arrived confirming my removal from liability, the shift became irreversible. I didn't announce it. I didn't send screenshots to relatives. I simply stepped out of responsibility. Weeks later, the consequence surfaced quietly. He called, frustration replacing confidence. The lender had reviewed his solo financial standing. They reduced the available credit limit. Certain supplier payments were paused until collateral improved. Expansion plans were delayed. He spoke faster than usual, trying to solve problems aloud. I listened. For the first time, his tone didn't carry superiority, it carried pressure. He asked if I could just temporarily reattach my name until things stabilized. I refused. Not aggressively, not emotionally. I told him that if the business was strong, it would survive under his ownership alone. There was a long pause. The laughter from Thanksgiving felt distant now, almost unreal. I didn't celebrate his setback. I didn't feel joy watching adjustments happen. I felt something calmer. Boundaries had replaced resentment. Authority in this situation wasn't loud. It was contractual. It was documented. It was enforceable. He now understood, maybe reluctantly, that respect cannot be demanded through sarcasm when leverage quietly exists elsewhere. Our family gatherings changed after that. The jokes about success softened. The assumptions shifted. He spoke more carefully around me, but nothing exploded. Nothing collapsed dramatically. Power didn't swing wildly, it simply relocated. I remain connected to him by blood, not by liability. And when I think about that Thanksgiving table, I no longer feel the sting of laughter. I remember my silence. That silence became action. And action became control, not over him, but over my own position.